Welcome to Reddit Stories, where we bring real stories from Reddit to life. Today, I will step into the shoes of a husband and tell you a classic tale of infidelity. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you won't miss the next parts of the story. The 12 darkest days of my life, the horror of which I can still feel to this day. I was plunged into a living hell. The wife I shared my pillow with, the woman I loved most, turned out to be a liar. Dark secrets gradually unfolded from behind the perfect facade of a happy family. This is a true story shared on Reddit, and I invite you to join me in the role of the husband to uncover shocking secrets, an unexpected and spectacular affair, especially since her lover is someone I never would have suspected. As I pour my heart out about these 12 days, I hope it serves as a lesson for everyone, and also, in part, that you might empathize with me and help alleviate my sadness. Let's begin with day 1. I'm Mark, and this is the story of the 12 hellish days of my life. The 12 days I discovered the woman I loved most was betraying me. Before the dark secrets began to unravel, Mark and Sarah's family was a model of happiness and perfection. They were an admired couple, a symbol of love and commitment. Mark and Sarah met on a fateful evening when they were both searching for their true other half. They were quickly drawn to each other by their shared souls and common dreams of a happy family. Their love blossomed like a brilliant flower, bringing them both sweet emotions and memorable moments. After dating for a while, they decided to live together, building their own nest. Their home was filled with laughter, warm dinners, and romantic evenings. They shared joys and sorrows, successes and failures in life. Sarah was a capable, thoughtful wife who always cared for Mark. She took care of him in every way, from delicious meals to neatly ironed clothes. Mark was also a wonderful husband, always loving and cherishing Sarah. He worked hard to provide his family with a full and happy life. They traveled together, exploring new lands, creating beautiful memories. They nurtured dreams and plans for the future. They believed that their love would last forever, that nothing could separate them. In the eyes of friends and relatives, Mark and Sarah were a perfect couple. They were a shining example of a happy family, a fulfilling love. No one could have imagined that behind that perfect facade, dark secrets, lies, and betrayals were hidden. It all started that evening. That evening, there were no clear signs, no powerful omens. Just a small change, a subtle difference that I couldn't quite describe. Sarah walked into the dining room with her usual smile, but it wasn't the smile I had fallen in love with. Her eyes avoided mine, as if she was hiding a deep secret. The dinner ended in heavy silence. We cleared the table mechanically, without exchanging a word. I felt like I was in a parallel universe, where the woman sitting across from me was no longer the Sarah I used to know. I remembered the evenings before, when we would laugh and talk nonstop, sharing everything about our lives. But tonight, there was only silence and unanswered questions between us. After dinner, we watched TV together, but neither of us really paid attention to what was happening on the screen. Sarah sat next to me but there was an invisible wall separating us. I tried to put my arm around her, wanting to pull her closer, but she subtly avoided me, saying she was a little tired and wanted to go to bed early. I felt like I was losing her bit by bit, and I didn't know what to do to stop it. I lay next to her in bed, but my mind was racing. I kept thinking about the unanswered questions. Why had Sarah changed so much? What was she hiding from me? And what had made her so distant? Was I too careless, too focused on work and neglecting her? Or was there someone else? The thought was like a knife stabbing into my heart, causing me pain and fear. Sarah's restlessness didn't stop when we were in bed. She tossed and turned, unable to sleep, constantly changing positions and sighing softly. I tried to make conversation, asking if she had a nightmare, but she just said she was a little restless. I remember lying there, staring at the dark ceiling, listening to Sarah's sighs, and feeling a growing unease in my heart. I wondered if I was just imagining things. Maybe Sarah was just going through a difficult time at work, or maybe she was worried about a personal issue she didn't want to share with me yet. But whatever the reason, I couldn't deny that something had changed. And I feared that this change might be the beginning of the end for our marriage. I drifted off to sleep in anxiety and exhaustion, but my sleep was restless and uneasy. The next morning, I woke up with a heavy feeling. I looked at Sarah sleeping peacefully beside me, her face serene and innocent, but I couldn't shake off the doubts that were surrounding me. I knew I had to find out the truth, no matter how painful it might be. I decided to start by checking Sarah's call history on her phone. I knew it was an invasion of privacy, a terrible betrayal of trust, but I had no other choice. I waited until she went into the bathroom, and then gently took her phone. The first time, I entered the wrong password. Sarah suddenly turned around, asking from the bathroom, "What are you doing with my phone?" My heart jumped. I quickly put the phone back on the table and pretended to look for eye drops. I just wanted to check the time. My eyes are a little dry. She seemed to believe me, but I knew I had just escaped a dangerous situation. I felt ashamed for having to lie to my wife, but the fear of losing her was greater than my pride. The second time, I tried to remember the sequence of numbers, but my fingers trembled and I entered the wrong code twice. The phone vibrated, warning of too many incorrect attempts. Sarah asked from the bathroom with a suspicious tone, "What's wrong with you? You seem anxious." I laughed awkwardly, saying I was just checking the news online. I tried to appear normal, but inside I was like a storm was raging. On the third try, I finally unlocked it. My hands were dripping with sweat, my heart pounding like it was about to burst. But when I got inside, I was shocked to find out that the call history and messages had been completely deleted. A few important apps like Telegram, Facebook were locked with a separate passcode. It was clear that Sarah had deliberately covered up all traces. I tried to find any clue, but her phone was suspiciously clean. The feeling at that moment was not just disappointment, but also horror. I knew I was facing a truth that was much worse than I had imagined. Sarah was not only deceiving me, she was also deliberately covering up all traces, as if preparing for a life without me. I wondered, how long has she been planning this? And who is that man? I felt like I was falling into a bottomless black hole, and I didn't know if I could ever get out. But then, in my deepest despair, I suddenly remembered something. The smartwatch I gave Sarah on our anniversary. It has a health tracking function, and also location tracking. A glimmer of hope appeared in the darkness. Could this be the key to unlocking Sarah's secret? Could it lead me to the truth that I both craved and dreaded? I didn't know, but I knew that I had to try. I had to know the truth, even if it killed me. From the smartwatch, what will I do next? Subscribe to the channel to catch the next part of the story.